મારે પ્રકાશ બનવું છે. પ્રકાશમાં જ વાર્તા બને અને વાર્તામાં જ ફિલ્મ.
It's all about light, you know, and celebration of light. So we want to release it during the festival of light, which is Diwali.
Hi everyone, this is Silas Ram, AsianCultureVulture.com, and with the brilliant Pan Nalin, who made a film called Chhello Show, the last picture show. Nana, welcome to AsianCultureVulture.com. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm doing fine.
Right. I was lucky enough to see the film at Tribeca last year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fantastic film and very evocative of that area. And is it very autobiographical in the sense that, is it really how you got into films?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it is. It's quite a almost everything in the movie except the climax is inspired from my own childhood. Right. Not only that, even the most locations you see in the movie is where I grew up, you know. So you see my school, you see also cinema hall where I saw my first film. And this is where, of course, in that countryside, there was only popular Indian cinema, Bollywood.
Yeah,
there was nothing else.
Bollywood. Yeah. Pure Bollywood, pure Bollywood. I mean, when you were young, is it the kind of age that you got into films? Did you really befriend a projectionist?
Yes, exactly. I was similar age, like 8.5, 9, when I started, you know, the friendship with a projectionist, you know, and his real projectionist name in my life was Mohammed Bhai.
Okay.
And he and you know he's still around, you know, he's about 78. Wow.
Yeah, fantastic.
You know, and his family, he still lives in the same town where the cinema hall is.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, of course he cannot, just like in the movie, he lost his job in 2010.
Oh really? Right.
When the digital arrived, because he didn't know how to read or write and all that. Right. And now he sells pav bhaji, you know.
Oh yes, yes, right, really. Oh, he's become. Oh, there's that food element, isn't there? In the. Was that also part of your real life?
Yes, yeah. I mean, my family, the only obsession was food: morning, evening, night. What to eat for lunch? What to eat for breakfast? What to eat for dinner? Yeah. You know, and the whole world can have World War II, III, didn't really matter. Only thing was food, and especially my father. And that, you know, made everyone really a great cook in the family. Right. So even in the movie, the food you see is cooked by my brother. Who's
wow. Yeah. Oh my God.
So,
fantastic.
And it was, as Samay is swapping his lunchbox with Puzzle, the projectionist. Yeah. So food was a big part of the metaphor that, you know, he exchanges food to watch movies.
Exactly. You know, and, it's a very interesting exchange. Looked at lots of young boys, didn't you? And how did you find he's so? He seems like a natural.
Right. Yes. I mean, that was really the casting process. Like, you know, usually as a filmmaker, you start in places like Mumbai, Ahmedabad, you know, where people speak Gujarati. Sure. So we look for Gujarati actors, you know, and we were really disappointed because the Indian parents, Gujarati parents, tend to train their kids to for reality TV shows, and you know, and it looked all so fake, and or either they were doing too much of Bollywood.
So
the first sessions of castings were very depressing, to the point that I almost said, look, if we don't have Samay, the lead character, we don't have movie. You know, it's finished.
Wow, gosh.
So my friend, who is a casting director, Dilip Shankar, you know, he had found Suraj Sharma, who played in Life of Pi, the hero of Ang Lee's Life of Pi.
He's well known.
So Dilip and Jackie Ramchandani, you know, there were a few other casting directors, Nayan Rana. We were like few of them.
Right.
We went into deep interior, and we decided, let's go to the villages.
Right.
People rarely go to see cinema.
Yes, right,
so, and maybe our kid is there, you know, let's look for non-actor.
I see, yes.
So within the Rabari community of camel herder and cow herder, we found Bhavin.
I mean, he's terrific.
I mean, fantastic,
I mean, did he take long to get into the role, or was it?
No, it was because we had prepared a whole organic process. It was, of course, nothing like you do for a normal movie for an actor. We had to prepare a different type of role preparation. So, you know, which was 4 to 5 weeks, he was just doing different tasks.
Yeah, right.
Meaning driving bicycle, doing school homework,
Right.
playing with glasses, making things out of nothing.
Yeah.
He was spending time in the projection room to learn how to splice, how to reel, rewind,
Oh, wow.
project the movies. He
Oh.
learned very fast, really,
Yeah.
like 24 hours he was projecting movies, you know. So, and he already had that spirit, you know, that we gave him a piece of, you know, bucket full of junk and say, okay, 2 hours later, I want you to make 5 things out of this junk.
Wow.
You know, and we come back and he would have made little train, plane, one toy, you know, recycling, mineral water bottle. And then throughout the shoot, it became a kind of a joke or a playfulness. He says, sir, while we are waiting for lighting, can we take this box and make a skyscraper out of it? I said, yeah, please go ahead. You know, and they will really make something out of it. So he was, I mean, he saved me. He saved Chhello Show. He saved the last film show.
And did you shoot on location in Kathiawar? Is that the real?
Yeah, I shot everything on location in Kathiawar.
Right.
And not only that, most of the location where I grew up, you know.
Wow.
So you also see my school, where Samay, it's also the school where I studied.
Right,
you
right.
know, you also see the cinema hall where I went to see cinema hall. You see the meter gauge railway line where my father used to have tea stall.
Right.
You know, so it's all the and I did look for more practical, you know, logistically practical places where I could shoot, but I couldn't find anything.
Right.
You know, I couldn't find what I knew as a kid.
Right.
You know, the wilderness. You know, because my village is next to Sasangir forest.
Right.
You know, so there was a presence of birds and animals and, you know, all the nature which was there. You know, I was sort of missing that. I said, like, you know, I need to have cameo done by my lions. You know, I need my cameo by deer and antelope.
What was your journey from Kathiawar into filmmaking? How did you become a filmmaker?
So while I was in the Baroda city, that is the first city I went to.
Okay.
While I was learning English, trying to join the university, this is where, and all my aim was very clear. I wanted to make films, you know, I had no doubt. And my teacher had told me maybe the way to go through that is you go to fine arts, because I used to paint and draw.
Yeah. There are some people here I know in the UK who also come from a fine art. It's not common.
So it was the right kind of advice.
Right.
So I was there, and later I was doing design in another college in Ahmedabad.
I see. Yes.
Institute of Design.
Yes.
So during this time, of course, I kept reading about movies, kept watching movies.
Yeah.
This is where I discovered Hollywood for the first time.
Really?
I also, because before that I had never seen a Hollywood movie.
Yes, Hollywood.
You know, and then I discovered world cinema, you know, Japanese cinema and the French New Wave and all that.
Right.
You know, and I started writing about them. I brought an old hand crank 16 camera.
Wow.
and started making 2 to 3 minute silent clip, you know, and in order to finance those little movies and bit of my education, I did a lot of wedding videos in Ahmedabad.
Oh, I see. Right.
Because, you know, Gujaratis and Indians love wedding videos, you know.
You know, I mean, that's the kind of ground level culture from where filmmakers, I suppose, how they start when they're young, some of them. Yeah.
So, and I used to give them whatever they want with stars and zoom effects and Taj Mahal behind and whatever. So,
yeah, I mean, how do your filmmaking sense is very, I mean, it appeals, I think, a lot in the West because it's quite, it's artistic. It's not it's not Bollywood, but there is a sense of Bollywood in the scale and the grandeur and the, I mean, I found the cinematography very seductive, you know,
Thank you.
in the last picture show. And how do you, did you have a choice? Or is this just the type of filmmaking that you feel most at home with?
I think for me, when I made Last Film Show and every other movie, you know, because I love cinema, so I always I didn't want budget to become an excuse for my aesthetic quality of cinema.
Right.
You know, I really I knew that as an Indian film 15 years ago when we went out, you know, people used to assume that technically it'll be poor, you know. So I always fought for that. That I want to be at top-notch international standard, you know. So very often Indian movies are considered in sound, especially sound mixing, very poorly mixed, are too noisy, too loud. to the taste of West or to Japan or South Korea.
I think
so for me, that quality of sound and cinematography and lighting and acting and the way we tell story, you know, I thought if I become honest to myself, naturally it will become more universal. And I enjoyed, you know, working with my craft, because as a filmmaker, we are also craftsmen. And if I'm not good at my craft, you know, it will not become universal. So from day one, when I did documentary short movies and I made my first movie, Samsara, you know, we had a very little money, but I didn't let that become an excuse, because sometimes we couldn't afford a good cinematographer in Bollywood because they were really expensive.
Of course,
They were working with Shah Rukh Khan and big stars. But I realized that with the same money, I can get a great cameraman from Bulgaria, you know, from Poland, you know. So I did that, you know. In my earlier movies, I had a cinematographer from Sofia. In one movie, I had a cinematographer from Poland, you know, and Italian production designer, you know. So, you know, and I never sort of compromise on quality.
No, I think that's what's amazing about this film. I haven't seen your other films, so I can't really comment on that. But I think you're a really perfect blend of all the kind of world cinema, Bollywood. You know, there is, like I said, there is some Bollywood element to your film.
Yes,
I think the part that appeals to us in the sense the scale and the kind of the story as well. I mean, how do you feel about filmmaking in India right now?
I think it's a really great time, you know, because there are two kind of things are happening post-pandemic, you know, because we have now a lot of streaming happening in India, you know, so web series and movies which go straight to the platform. But, and, you know, and there are a lot of exciting filmmakers across the region, you know, whether it's Kerala, Assam, Northeast, Gujarat, you know, there's a lot of interesting cinema happening in regional pockets.
Yes.
As far as the mainstream industry, Hindi and Tamil and Telugu, I do feel they are still stagnant. They are where they are, you know, because they know that's what makes money, you know. So I feel that you know, you can definitely see a new Bollywood movie and get fully entertained, but you will not find that novelty which you might discover in a small film from Kerala. Or a film from, you know, Assam or Punjab, you know, so that's, but it's a very interesting time because there's so much of talent now in India. So many young filmmakers doing really courageous things in all disciplines, you know, whether it's music videos, TV commercial, even animation, you know, you will see some of the good animation filmmakers are really going to do international work in a couple of years. Film, you know, on the scale of Japan and the US. So,
that's amazing.
So all that is happening.
Does the film have a release date for India?
Yes, I think we are working on but release date will be between Navaratri and Diwali, because as you saw the movie, it's all about light. You know, and celebration of light. So we want to release it during the festival of light, which is Diwali.
What would you most want people to take away from the film, apart from obviously enjoying it? I think it's a terrific film.
When we made the film, you know, we had a tagline that when you have nothing, nothing stops you. You know, we want audience to take that away, that never make an excuse to do anything in your life. If you have a dream, don't say, I don't have money. Don't say, I can't. Oh, I didn't go to Harvard. I didn't go to Oxford. All excuses. Okay.
That's right. And are you working on another film now? Or
I'm working on two projects, two feature film projects. One is out of India, you know, and one is out of Hollywood.
Okay.
So it's too early to talk. And I'm also working on a web show, you know, web series as well.
Great. Fantastic.
So that's in the, you know, process. It, of course, it was slowed down because of pandemic and, you know, Omicron and same story around the world. But now the work has resumed.
Well, I hope we can talk about it when you're ready to
absolutely.
That would be terrific. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much
fantastic.
For having me.
We're really looking forward to the film coming to London, and I hope we'll see you again.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you so much.
ભવિષ્યના બધા માલિકો વાર્તાગારો છે.